Hey everyone, it's Eric with firearmtutorials.com, and today we're just looking at some current projects in the shop here. So it's been a little while since I've done a video. I've been doing a lot of different things, and I figured I'd just kind of do one video to show kind of little parts of the stuff that I'm doing, and then we'll just kind of go from there, get more specific. So here, it's a gun that I've had for a long time, a 5.56 gun. I decided to just disassemble it. It had about 10,000 rounds through it, so I'm basically just doing a thorough cleaning, and I'm going to Cerakote it. So I've got some parts here. None of these are the actual gun. I think that's the barrel. I've got some other stuff over here. There's a couple more barrels, various parts. There's a little blackout gun. Some of the stuff is over here, so these are kind of some small parts that'll be Cerakoted. In here is like the part of the receiver, the forward assist. Where's the rest of it? Here it is. This is the upper and lower receiver. So here's the lower. Trying to figure out how to get this button out because it's not standard. This is going to have to be cleaned some more. See, it's got some nice wear inside there. This actually cleaned up pretty nice. This was getting really dark because it was just dirty. So still working on that. This flash hider. Some of this stuff I actually cleaned in the wet tumbler. Here's some more stuff. I'm going to paint this buffer tube, castle nut, Geisley trigger, some of that stuff, furniture. This was the optic I had on it, Aimpoint Pro. I used this vise. I actually just got this. It's kind of like a neat little AR-15 vise thing. So, you know, you can put the upper receiver in it, or like the bolt to do certain things. I don't know. It's putting the charging handle. It came with some instructions, but it was pretty intuitive, and it was a thing that, like, I do enough AR-15 stuff that I was like, yeah, I might as well just pick that up. This is going to be Cerakoted. These small parts are easy to do. So concerning the Cerakote, I'll have to do a different video on it. I started it at one point. I just didn't like how the video turned out, so I just scrapped it. But a lot has changed. So this is the tank I'm using. Oh, and I got a fire extinguisher. Look at that. This is the compressor I'm using, and then I kind of just rigged this system up. It's not the best, but it works for now at least. And then this, let's see, that's the gun I'm using, the Iwata. It's pretty much the industry standard. This is the blast cabinet. It's just a cheap Harbor Freight one, and then I built a little rolling cart for it. So the issue with this is that it leaks, right? As you can tell from the back of this. I've tried sealing it up and all this different stuff. Basically what I figured, instead of screwing around with it, I'll just, I put it on wheels so that I can roll it outside and do the blasting out there. Pros and cons, I don't have any dust in here because it got all over everything when I was using it in the house or in the shop here. And then if I just go outside, I don't have to worry about it. The dust just goes up into the atmosphere. I still wear a mask when I'm doing it just so I'm not breathing in the media. So I kind of have to prep everything that I want to blast first, outside at least. You know, clean it, then blast it, then kind of hang it up. This stuff hasn't had anything done to it except some of them have been cleaned. But so once I blast it and get it ready to be painted, then I can do that, you know, at another time. So I've kind of turned it into a two-step process. For the painting, I've really just got kind of a crude setup here, but it's working so far. So if you see this, it's actually a microphone stand. So I'll take that out and I'll actually put it outside, turn the lights on. So I do most of this painting at night or on the weekends, and then it works pretty good. We'll go over here. Oh, this bench is new, by the way. I built another one. This is just a 6-foot one. Pretty much the same thing as the other one here. I just kind of made a few improvements on it. I did the nicer corners and stuff. I painted it and did actually a heavier polyurethane on the wood here. So this is kind of my Cerakote stuff. I mean, the steel wool is actually not part of it, but pretty much everything else in here is like stuff to clean the gun. The These are to measure the paint. This is what I use to clean the paint. And then I've got various, like, here we go, gunmetal gray. I've got an assortment of stuff in here, different colors. Sniper gray, that one I'm going to use pretty soon. Titanium, mostly grays and blacks. Oh, this is the Cerakote Elite. This midnight color, this is actually really cool. I just sprayed the Elite like last weekend, and I'm really digging it. It's a little bit different than the H series. And then obviously this is what I'm using to cure it, right? So this one's, let me take this tripod down here, but this isn't the biggest one, but it's big enough. Let me grab a barrel here. So this is an 18-inch barrel. So I could conceivably do something. I mean, I could figure out something to raise this up a little bit. This is the heating element, so I'm limited there, but I figured I really wasn't going to do too much stuff that's kind of bigger than an 18-inch barrel. If I do, then, you know, I'll address it at a later date, but that's what I'm using for that. This, I've had guns on, but, you know, it kind of, I don't want to keep them in here, so it kind of just turned into parts and tools storage, and that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to do a separate video on this, but let's see, I think it's this guy. So this one, see a Noveske receiver, Noveske rail. You don't see an upper receiver. Let's see, this is a Noveske barrel, 18-inch lightweight barrel. Absent are the upper receiver and the bolt. This was the bolt, and this I just practiced. This was the Cerakote Elite, so this was just practice, and I actually dropped it before I put it in the oven, but it didn't matter because this was just a complete test. But you see the bottom of the carrier is missing. I kaboomed the rifle, so I'll address that in a separate video. Here's actually the front of the old receiver. So we'll talk, I'm going to do a video on, and most of them are not in. Here's one of them. MP5 mags. So I've got an assortment, these ETS plastic 40 rounders, no go. Make a video talking about why that is, and then other, you know, offerings that are obvious. Stuff is really some more inline fabrication stuff. This is all their system, and then, you know, I got like another one of these, and this thing that holds paper towels. I got a scale in here. I actually never had a proper scale in here other than the ones for measuring gunpowder. So this one will be for just like comparing different things, right? Like the weight of different optics and, you know, some other stuff. This guy I've had for a long time, this 10.5-inch blackout gun. That's got a Mepro light, red dot sight. I should probably do a review on that because there's honestly not a whole lot of info out there. Some pros and cons. It's got the CAC broomstick, which I'm actually digging. This thing, I talked about this before, but I've set it up a little better now. Let's see, you guys can see it's essentially like something you would see at a hardware store to sort nuts and bolts and stuff. But I've got like various punches in here, gauges, tools for like installing rails. These are for like Knights Armament ones. That's a Noveske one. Little bags of various parts, HK parts mostly. Let's see what's in this one. Cleaning stuff, stripper clips. I don't know. It's kind of a neat way to organize things. Kind of keeps it all in one place. So some odds and ends stuff, brushes, again, more parts, screws. Some random small primer brass, I don't know. But it's a good way to kind of store things, keep it all in one space. Oh, so this is interesting. This is actually the Noveske switch block I've covered before. This is actually the internals of it. So I took it apart, obviously, to clean it. So you can see this front pin here actually just holds holds this front part on, right? But these other ones are actual gas settings. So that's your unsuppressed, I believe, the biggest one, and then the middle one is off, right? So there's no gas at all, and then that would be your suppressed setting. It's actually got some little, I forgot what these things are that we have on the bolts, gas rings. Kind of interesting. I've got another one for a 10.5-inch barrel. I guess I might as well talk about that real quick. So this guy up here, this is a Midwest Industries rail. I'm going to compare this like as a quality part to a cheap part, but essentially what I'm going to do is mill out the top of this and do another switch block on a 10.5-inch barrel. I think this is a 9-inch rail. That's going to be kind of on the back burner though, because I do not have a mill. I plan on using this area for a small mill, but the one I want is at least $1,000, and just kind of have other stuff that I need to spend money on, so that's probably going to be a little ways away. This thing is pretty cool, actually, and it works good. So basically, you know, just like you'd think, you stick it in there, stick the muzzle in there, fire away. So it's actually got, like, I don't know if you could see it in there, but it's got some chopped up tires, kind of like that rubber mulch stuff. And then obviously it just hits steel in the back. But I use it for test firing things. Like I told you, those MP5s, certain magazines run and won't run, so I can just test them in here instead of having to wait, you know, to go out and shoot somewhere. So that works good. Handguns, supposedly rated up to 308, though I don't know that I would want to shoot a 308 in this. But I don't know, we'll get a look at that sometime. And that's about it, guys. Questions or comments, let me know. This is going to be an interesting, once I get this gun cleaned up and reassembled, I think it's going to look really nice. So if you saw my previous video from a couple years ago, this is tactical gray, and this was already Cerakoted by the previous owner, but I think I'm going to just blast this and repaint it because I want to paint a few other things on the rifle tactical gray, and I'm not sure that I can get the paint to match. That's kind of a tricky thing to do with the Cerakote, is if somebody's already mixed it or it's a previous batch that you mix to try and match it. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.